here in Des Moines, Iowa, the Des Moines River. Just took a bath. It's probably something that's not advisable, but fuck it. It's not too cold even. It's my first time here in Des Moines. Des Moines. I don't think you pronounce the S's. Des Moines. You know, when you travel, like, you kind of start getting stuck in, like, patterns of your travels, you know, like visiting the same places, like going to visit your friends or going to, like, seasonal events and shit. So, it's easy to get stuck in a pattern sometimes. But, you kind of have to, like, push yourself, you know, to go new places, to go places you haven't been to before. I think for me that's one of the best feelings that there is when I get to a new town that I haven't been to for the first time, you know, and I don't know what to expect. That's an addictive feeling, you know. Get off the train, you know, get off railroad property, go stash your gear in the bushes somewhere, you know, walk to the gas station and get a beer, fill up your water jug, you know, and then, you know, go find some little hiding place to sleep for the night. You don't know where it's gonna be for sure. You just walk around until you find something that looks good. The next morning you wake up and you explore this brand new place for the first time. It's addicting. I think, like, I could quit drinking. Yeah, I like to drink, but honestly, if I had a reason to, I'd quit it. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to stop traveling. That's my main addiction, is just seeing new places constantly. Traveling is just a form of escapism, like every other drug that there is, you know. If you're focused on getting to the next town, like, that's the only thing that really matters. Like, you don't gotta worry about anything else. You're just focused on getting to the next place. Yeah, I don't gotta worry about shit, you know. No job, no money. Fuck it. I don't really care. All I'm focused on is getting to the next fucking place. And once I get to that place, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to the next fucking place to get the fuck out of that place, because this place sucks, you know? Yeah, I'm happy to be here in Des Moines, Iowa for the first time. I think it's beautiful, in a way, you know? Des Moines, obviously, nobody's, like, top destination. And it was like, you know where I really want to go someday? Des Moines, Iowa. You know? But so far it seems pretty fucking cool. You got a river, you got trains, looks like a bunch of burrito trucks here, and that's all I really care about. Some, like, abandoned shit to go explore. Looks pretty sick to me. Damn, that's what I call a fucking burrito. Cheese, rice, carne asada. Looks like cilantro in there. Some green sauce. I love fucking verde sauce. The red sauce, you know, I'm a fucking white boy. It's a little too spicy for me. God damn, it's a good burrito. You know, some assholes will say that, you know, I'm a failure, that I'm wasting my life by, you know, not having a job and a house. I don't know, what the fuck are you doing with your life that's so great? I'm seeing places, like, I'm living my fucking dreams. I'm doing what the fuck I want to do. Yeah, my only real goal in life is to see as many places and have as many experiences as I possibly can. And I'm pretty successful in that regards, you know. I've fucking been through 48 states. Technically, I was born in Alaska, so that's 49. Been through 6 Canadian provinces. You know, I've been back and forth, East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast, fucking dozens of times. I'll go places I don't even want to go to, really. Like, I went to South Dakota last year just to fucking say that I've been there, just to fucking see it. I mean, I'd already seen it as a kid on road trips and shit, but I wanted to go there, by freight train, to see it for my fucking self the way that I travel. And it kind of fucking sucked. But, I'm still glad that I did it. I'm still glad that I went there and saw it and had that crappy experience, because that's another fucking experience. Sometimes the bad experiences are the most valuable experiences we'll ever have. Anyone that says that homeless travelers are just lazy, that's bullshit. That's fucking stupid, I've had jobs. I worked, I had one job for like 5.5 years, Going to work and paying bills, having a roof over your head, knowing what you're gonna do every single day, like, it's relatively fucking easy. It's not that hard to do, In comparison, it takes a lot more thought and effort to live the way that I do now. I'm not knocking on people who have jobs and houses. Like, obviously that's important, do whatever the fuck makes you happy. But, this life, I do this because it's challenging. I don't do this shit because it's easy. I need challenges to make myself happy. Most human beings need challenges to be happy. For me, having a job and a house, it's not a real challenge. It's kind of straightforward, simple. Wake up, do the same shit every fucking day. Maybe I wake up and do the same shit every day, but I do it in a different place every fucking day, and that makes me happy. That's what makes it different every fucking day. Kind of think of my life as kind of like a game, It's like the more places that I visit and see with my own eyes, the more experiences I have, the more points I collect, sort of. I don't keep track of the points because they don't actually exist. But this is just sort of a metaphor for the way that I live, It would take an entire lifetime just to thoroughly explore North America. And you still probably wouldn't even get to see half of it, I still want to get a plane ticket to Hawaii someday. I still, I got some more Canadian provinces to see. I'd like to see all the states of Mexico someday. I'd like to go to Europe and see as much of that shit as I can see someday, I mean, I could die at any fucking moment, and wouldn't matter. I've already seen a lot, but, there's still a lot of shit that I haven't seen that, I'd like to cross off my list. Really the only people who have the freedom to travel are the really rich and the really poor. Because the really rich, they have the money. They just buy plane tickets and hotel rooms and pay somebody to watch their dog and mow their lawn and everything. And do whatever the fuck they want. And, poor people like me, I don't have any responsibilities. I only have responsibility when I choose to have responsibility. So, like, why would I not travel, But the majority of like in between working class people, like, you're stuck. You have kids, you have bills to pay, you have responsibility. You're stuck going to your job, and you really don't have the freedom to travel, and so that sucks. So, like, I'm aware that obviously most people do not have the freedom to travel the way that I do, or the way that rich people do, I don't encourage anyone to live like I do. I don't think you should, Don't hop trains, don't hitchhike, don't live on the streets, Mostly I just don't want you to fuck it up for me, because the more people out here doing it, it just fucks it up. That's it, but for the homeless people who watch this channel, for the people who already live on the streets and live outside, whether it's by choice or by accident or just bad circumstances, traveling is way better than being a homeless person in the same place every day. I don't know. A lot of people, they get scared or they just get stuck in a routine of like, oh, this is the corner where I fly my sign off. This is where I recycle cans. Fuck you, jet ski. But yeah, you get stuck in a cycle of like the routine, your homeless routine and what you know and shit. So you're scared to leave that routine. And you probably have a community. You have friends, your neighbor camps and stuff. Maybe you have a nice camp set up. It's scary to leave sometimes. But I don't know. I feel like the benefits of traveling as a homeless person, to me, it feels like a better life than just being, a sedentary homeless person. Drinking a Fago. I'm not a juggalo, but shout out to juggalos. It's cheap, and I needed something besides beer. Jazz. I'm kind of nostalgic for the time when, like, train hopping was, it's a means of transportation for homeless people, It used to predominantly probably be homeless people. I mean, there's always part-timers and people just getting to work and going one place or another. But, I hardly ever meet anybody out on the rails now that's, like, full-time living that life. Like, it's mostly people that, they have a job and a house somewhere and they're just, like, taking a hobo vacation pretty much. And I don't judge that. Like, that's like half of my friends pretty much are doing that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not like it used to be. There used to be a lot more, full-time people, living on the rails and, doing that kind of life. And now homeless people just don't really travel that much. I don't know. I don't really know why. You'd think it'd be easier now in the smartphone internet age, but I don't know, maybe it's too much hard drugs. I don't know. Train hoppers have always been fucked up and mentally ill and drunk as shit and on shooting dope and this and that, so I don't really know what it is now. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was sleeping last night next to a tree, or I was going to sleep and I looked up and there's a raccoon in the tree. He's looking down at me. I was like, "Aw, I'm sleeping under your tree. You're too scared to come down." But, I already had all my shit laid out. I'm not going to move. I'm pretty sure he came down eventually. Show me the fucking camera, bitch. I don't see a fucking camera. That's a light. When I was younger and I first started traveling and I'd get to a new town, like, I'd always go downtown because I just assumed that, like, that's like the center of things. That's where town is. That must be where shit's happening, And now a lot of times, like, I get to a town, I don't go downtown at all. Downtown's typically just a place with a bunch of big buildings and not a lot of substance. It's cool to see the architecture and shit, to say that you've seen it. But, I don't know, today, like, probably gonna go to the burrito truck, go to the gas station, buy some booze, hike down to the river, and walk a couple miles or so to try to find just a chill spot along the river. I'm probably just gonna fucking sit there. Maybe read a book or something. I'm probably not gonna meet anyone cool. I'm probably just gonna be alone today. But, sometimes you go places and you meet people. Sometimes you just go places to be alone and just explore, the outskirts of town and shit. I texted a picture of these mushrooms to a friend of mine who knows about mushrooms. He said they're probably Elm oyster mushrooms. They're edible, good to eat. I don't really want to cook right here, but maybe I'd pick a bag of them for later. Gotta buy some shrooms, man. I got those good shrooms. I just added a little bit of water to the bottom. Look, mushrooms typically have a lot of water in them to begin with, and they cook down quite a bit. The mushrooms really boil down to like not a lot. Yeah. So if you're ever picking mushrooms, know that you need a lot more than you think you do. It's like they're bulky, and then they're mostly water, so they just shrivel up to like nothing. And then I just added some bell pepper and a summer sausage and mozzarella cheese that had been sitting in my backpack for a few days, so I felt like I needed to use that up. 2 packets of salt, 3 packets of pepper. I tasted it, it's pretty decent. Tempted to put a 3rd packet of salt in, but I feel like that might be too much salt, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. It's also tempted to do hot sauce, and like, I put hot sauce in everything. Sometimes I just eat, that'd take away from like the mushroomy taste, I feel like. It's pretty decent. Elm oysters or whatever. Oyster mushrooms. Yeah, if I had like some garlic and some butter, that shit would have been good on its own, like nothing added, but garlic would have really made this shit slap, but I don't have no garlic. But yeah, it's pretty decent, I think. Time to do dishes. Use the sand to scrub shit out. Cheese on the bottom. I just feel like a raccoon. Raccoons wash their hands. I live like a raccoon. Everything around here looks like poison ivy. And I'm just going to assume that it is poison ivy. But it's growing as like full-blown poison ivy trees. Like a lot of tree saplings also look like poison ivy. But I'm just gonna say it's poison ivy. Day 3 here in Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, I could just keep going to the store for booze and food and coming back and chilling in the woods, but I feel like it's time to leave. I'm ready to move. I want to get back on another train. I really have only seen like a fraction of this place. I didn't go downtown at all, but you know, I'm just ready to move again. No fucking rides on this train. Just a couple of crappy ones up ahead if I can get to them. Pretty sure I got poison ivy all over my fucking elbow. I don't know why my elbow and not my ankles. That's fucking crazy. It's kind of spreading to my other hand also. Yeah. You're dead. You're fucking dead. All you really have is your memories. If your brain, if your consciousness lives on, I don't fucking know. But you know, your money, your house, your possessions, you can't take that shit with you, you know. But the amount of friends that you make in your lifetime, the amount of experiences that you have, you know, I feel like that's what really matters in life, you know. So, I have old people in their 80s and 90s like, oh, I wish I could do what you do. They say that to me. And I was like, nobody on their deathbed ever says, you know, I wish I spent more time at work. I wish I spent less time traveling and less time doing the shit that I enjoyed doing, you know. Nobody ever says that. People say they wish they spent more time with their loved ones. They wish they did the things that they actually wanted to do in life.